Ken Smith, Ken Smith Fishing. So, this week I've got some more good video for you guys coming from Chris at Classic Fiberglass, which will follow this directly. And then tomorrow I'm going to post a little short video of my experience at Lake Fork practicing for the Bass Champs. Which brings me to, remember, you Bass Champs North guys, we've got the Bass Champs tournament on Fork this weekend. $2,000 up for the highest finishing Spark customer in the top 10, plus we got our giveaways. And I've not talked enough about Spark, and I'm working on a video that if I can get permission, I'm going to share with you guys from Spark. Just know Spark came through the mess this past week with flying colors. They still have incredibly competitive rates. A lot of you folks are about to get one of your biggest electric bills you've ever gotten, and I really want you to understand how good a deal they're making us. So if they'll give me permission, I'm going to post a video up here in the next week or so. But just know, if you go to sparkfishing.com, those rates are super competitive. You cannot look at that advertised rate. You've got to look deeper into it. There's something called an EFL, which is a facts page. You got to look at it, and if you do your homework, you're going to discover it is one of the most competitive rates in the marketplace. So check it out at sparkfishing.com. If you don't understand it, reach out to me, because man, I'll be glad to walk you through what I did in my process before I struck the deal with Spark, because I wanted to make sure it was real competitive. But it's a great deal. They're giving back to the community. We're going to give $250 away right now. We're either going to give $2,000 away this weekend at the Bass Champs, or we're going to roll it to the next Bass Champs where we'll give $4,000 away. So this week's Spark is so hard not to look down doing this. By the way, we had a ton of enrollments this week. Thank you for that, guys. So next week will be a much larger drawing as far as number of participants, but we only get these on Friday to add to them. So a bunch of folks enrolled last week. So when you call that number, all you got to do is say, tell them you're looking for the Spark Bass program, because it's a little bit of a discount off of what's available in the open market. Or you can go right there on their website. And again, this is for most Texas residents. And you can enter your address there, and they'll tell you what your rate is. And the rate does vary across different parts of the state. So this week, let's use that name right there. And our winner this week's from the Metroplex, Mr. Alan Shelton in Irving, Texas. Congratulations, Alan. I'll reach out to you and let you know you've won in the next day or two. But I'm so happy to have you as a Spark customer. Excuse me, got a phone ringing. And don't throw away an envelope from Spark Energy, because it'll have a $250 gift certificate in there. So there you go. That's this week's winner. Let's now get to the footage with Chris over at Classic Fiberglass. I think you guys are going to enjoy this. I've really had a lot of fun doing these with him and learned a bunch. So here we go. All right. So one of the things Chris laughed at me about, and I want to talk about boat care. So we were talking about washing boats. And I use a bunch of different things, but I will admit, on occasion, I have used Dawn dishwashing liquid. Is that a good idea?
It is not.
Let's let him spray, then we'll talk to him. All right, so let's talk about what did I do wrong washing my boat with Dawn dishwashing liquid?
You wash the wax off. And that's, you know, basically Dawn is a degreaser, so you know, that's, you know, what it's made for is to take greasy crap off your plates and everything else, and it will take the wax right off your boat.
So what do you suggest to wash a boat with?
We use Blue Coral, because it's cheap. You can buy it in a gallon for $5 or something like that. So that's what we use to wash our boats.
Blue Coral?
Yeah, and there's a lot of them out there that make it. You know, I mean, I don't know, what's the one with the little turtle, the wax company with the turtle on it. They make a wash that has a wax built into it, and that always helps. You know, it's not going to substitute a good wax. You know, we use 3M for our wax, but you know, and then Bass Boat Saver or something like that in between. You know, slick, you know, Lucas Slick Mist or whatever you can use in between. But for the most part, you just want to take care of it, and you know, when you get ready to sell it, it'll be worth a ton more. You know?
How often should you wax a boat?
I'd say twice a year on the wax part of it, and which
not often.
Which most people don't do, but
yeah.
You know, and in between, you know, use a spray wax that's you know, got some kind of UV protecting in it. You know, I mean, we sell bass boat savers, so I mean, not that I'm pushing it, but that's just a good product. We use it out here, and you know, and it's easy to, you know, one 14-ounce bottle lasts you, you know, 6 months just because, you know, you don't spray a whole lot. You spritz it every 3 foot, and you let the, you know, whatever you're wiping it down with, spread it around. And it helps the water spots and those hard water stains and stuff you get from Texoma and some of them other lakes. It helps those not stick to the boat near as bad, you know. And it's, like I say, just something we use. And others could, you know, several different products out there like it. But
so I've got real bad hard water spots on part of my cowling. Do you have any suggestions for that?
yeah, hot sauce is will work on that. I'll show you what it looks like. I got some bottles in here.
So I had never heard of bass boat saver. So that's it right there.
That's it. So I mean, it's they've been around for a long time. Perfect, smells pretty. I mean, it's say it's got the UV protectant in it. We use it on seats and gel coat and windshields and all your gauges and all that stuff. It'll clean all that stuff. It won't stain anything.
You just mix it with water?
No, it's just 100% right out of that deal right there. And like I say, it's I think a gallon of it's $39.99, and it comes with a 14-ounce squirt bottle with it, you know. And but it's I mean, it's what we've used for 10 years.
And then the hot sauce you were talking about.
The hot sauce, I buy this stuff at Academy because none of my vendors sell it. Bass Pro Shops and stuff sells it, but it gets those water spots off, and that's perfect for them.
Yours ain't old enough to have any.
No,
yeah, that's funny you just went to that because those metal rails in the back of my Ranger are the worst place.
Typically get to them.
Yeah.
See if we can find something that's got it.
You have to let it sit?
Yeah, you're supposed to let it sit just a little bit. But, I mean, I'd say it'll work a little bit.
Do you sell that stuff?
I don't know. None of my vendors carry it, so
I just said that.
Yeah, I end up buying it from Academies where I get it from. I know Bass Pro Shop sells it as well. But
you let it sit, it'll grind it out.
Yeah, it does a little bit more, but it smells. It's got a vinegary smell to it, I guess. And so, I mean, you can probably make your own with it. Just trying to figure out what it smells like.
Yeah, so you can see that versus that. That's pretty good.
And it really does the trick on all your chrome stuff that has it. So
yeah, so like this right here, this is some of the stuff that's really bad about getting that stuff on. And
yeah, and like I say, you're supposed to let it sit for just a little bit, but I mean, it'll clean that stuff up. That's that company right there makes several different cleaners for stuff.
Several different what?
Cleaners. You know, they make a seat cleaner and everything, but that's the only product I buy from them, but it works really well.
Yeah, and to that point, so if you ever open your Ranger manual, they're real specific about what they don't want you using on their seats.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah. So you might check your owner's manual with most of these boats. You've got something on carpet that I never thought about, but talk a little bit about taking care of your carpet in your boat, do's and don'ts.
Right. So basically when you're cleaning it, you know, everybody gets sand in it, backwash or something like that, and that's probably the worst for it. Is it
red clay?
It'll mat it down real bad. So when you're washing your carpet, I mean, we use a pressure washer. Obviously, don't you know, keep your pressure washer too close to the carpet. You're going to tear it up. But all the grain on the carpet runs from the front to back, so it mats down. If you take your hand from the front of the boat to the back, it'll mat down. So what you want to do is pressure wash it from the back forward. So you want that nap to come up. A, that gets all the dirt out of it, and B, that helps it dry quicker, and that's part of what deteriorates carpet is being wet and dry, so you want it to dry as quick as possible. Another thing we do when we're detailing boats is we use Downy fabric softener to do the carpet, and that helps keep it a little plusher and helps keep it, it cleans it as well, but it also helps keep it a lot softer.
How do you apply it?
We've got a little brush that we bought it at Walmart. It's got a brush and it's got a little canister. You hook the water hose up to the end of the brush. It's on a pole, and you just put that Downy in that thing, and the water pulls it out. And then after you get all that clean, then you just pressure wash it with clean water until you get all the soap out of it.
So you wash it and then put the Downy on it, and then rinse the Downy out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to have it. You got to have it wet first. You get it wet. You know, get the majority of the sand that you can out of it. and then come back with the downy, and then come back and.
Do you still smell the downy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It makes the boats. It's like it's like putting the licorice things under your seat at the car wash.
A buddy of mine at Rayburn has a 2010 Ranger, and he has something that he's been described as blistering on the bottom of his boat where the boat sets on the bunks. And I asked Chris about it, and Chris said that's a thing. So talk about that, Chris.
So what it is, it's just, gel coat's so porous that water can penetrate it if, sits there for a while. People that leave the boats in the slips, wet store them and stuff like that are more susceptible. But what we've seen, past few years coming up is where it sits on the bunks. A bass boat will sit on the bunks, or any boat will sit on the bunks, and that water will soak in and give it blisters. And you can look under a boat, outline of the bunks is there, and it's just blisters. Sometimes they're, quarter inch, sometimes they're $half size, and if you pop them, that water will come out of it. So. All right, so let's finish our thought about the blistering. So you see it regularly, you said? Oh yeah, quite a few. I mean, this boat, I'd show you some. This boat probably does not have it. And that boat's 20, so it probably doesn't have it. But that boat right there has it. That Charger. Yeah, and it's actually got some severe discoloration where the boats, where the bunks were. I mean, you can see a clean outline of where the bunks have set, and it's like almost a brown color versus that gold color. And what's causing that? I don't know what changes the color on it, but it's got some blistering in it as well. And the fix is just what you're doing over there. Yeah, redo it. And sand it down, get the water out. Unfortunately, this boat has flake on the bottom of it, so so you got that whole process, and that's a lot of square foot underneath it to do it. But you see all the little circles where it's starting to blister, and how it's a different colors where the bunks were. This trailer's kind of weird that it had a 2x6 bunk and a 2x4 bunk on each side, where most of them all have at least the same diameter. And I've wondered why nobody is putting Teflon bunks as opposed to carpet bunks. Well, the Teflon, we've had some guys do that. You can buy that board that goes on like boat docks and stuff like that. Chews right into the gel coat. Oh, it does? Yeah. So it's too rough. Yeah, it's too rough, and just the the constant vibration going down the road, it just chews into it. Yep, it'll rub the gel coat right off. Answers that question. So what we talked about off camera was one of the fixes is, I don't know if it's a fix, but and it's funny, I do it anyway. I hate my floor in my barn being wet. So I've got a giant fan that as soon as I pull the boat in, I turn it on. That probably helps. Yeah, absolutely, because it's the bunks being wet, the carpet being wet is what causes it, and that fan's are going to basically dry those bunks. If you put it at the tail end of the boat and push it forward, you're going to have that air flowing through there, and that's going to help a ton, on keeping those blisters off of there. Plus, it keeps everything dry underneath the boat. So we're all always worried about, and I know a bunch of us do it because we've all shared pictures. We put fans above our boats when we bring them in, open them up to blow and dry the compartments. But it probably makes sense to run one up underneath it as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, supposedly they've changed how they make the gel coat, and it's not as big of a problem on newer boats. Not as porous. As porous on it, but who knows? I mean, time will tell on that. So we got interrupted by actual work. So we were talking about the blistering right there. Right. And so what we were just kind of talking about was how it is, and it's not necessarily a life or death situation on the blisters. I mean, they can be fixed. They're more of an eyesore, more cosmetic than what they people think they are sometimes, because most of the times once you grind them out, the blistering's between layers of fiberglass, layers of gel coat, not between the gel coat and the fiberglass. So typically once we grind one out, what you see underneath is the same color of fiberglass, or same color of gel coat. And then you just fill that and sand it and then reshoot it. But I mean, typically it's not all the way into the glass. So that's on the bright side of the blisters, it's more of an eyesore than it is a real problem. Okay guys, back tomorrow with a really short video on my experience at Bass Champs, just kind of giving you what I saw for those of us that are going to be at Bass Champs this weekend. And I can tell you, not many guys pre-fished, and you didn't miss out much. There just weren't many boats on the water.
So check that out tomorrow, and then Thursday we've got more really good footage. Thursday you're going to see again better quality because Jared again did some editing for me. So stay tuned for that video on this Thursday too. So a 3 for this week. Thanks guys.